What an insane week it was in DFS. I don't ever really recall a player being as obviously good of a play as Brock Bowers in the field, still not really liking him. Maybe more importantly, Brock Bowers, an obviously good play that I found a way to ruin. This is my team in the SPY. I'm so disappointed, honestly, in this team. I knew coming into the slate, man, did I really want to play Patrick Mahomes. I thought that it was kind of, honestly, I really did think all-time spot for Patrick Mahomes against the Buffalo Bills on the road. Isaiah Pacheco is out. I expected the drop back rate for the Chiefs to be like 75% in this game against Buffalo. Perhaps more importantly, I did not think that Patrick Mahomes had a game this bad in his range of outcomes in a game where the team was trailing. Obviously, Mahomes can have really bad games when the team is favored. If they got a defensive touchdown, if anything like that happened, you can totally see Mahomes failing. What he get? He got 11.5 DraftKings points with the snowflake. Mahomes had his worst ever game in terms of completion percentage, 44% completion. It is the very first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that he did not complete at least 50% of his passes. He threw 34 passes. He completed 15 of them for 250 yards. He got sacked 3 times. He had only 1 scramble for 5 yards. And you know what? It's just like looking at these ownerships in the SPY, Mahomes at 10%. I mean, I think I'd probably do it again. I really think I would go back. If you told me Mahomes was going to be 10%, I think I probably feel pretty good about that. There were like Jackson Dart was 17% owned. I would not have wanted to play 17. And look how many times this team was duped, by the way. This cash team. We had some other dupes in here. Gino, who my boy Neil Orfield called out. Unbelievably good play here. Justin Herbert, 1.9%. Like, not to say that Mahomes was like, oh, he definitely should have been 10%. And well, let's actually go look at the winning team a little bit later. Let's just continue this analysis. So I played Patrick Mahomes, obviously just an insanely disappointing performance. 250 passing yards. The only passing scores he got was a 2-point conversion that I believe he threw to Travis Kelce. Again, Tyrone Tracy Jr. at 16.7%. What ended up happening was a real split between Tracy, between Trevion Henderson, and then everyone played Monangai. But this was not even what Tyrone Tracy was expected to be owned, right? I mean, that's maybe the more interesting thing about it. Let's go see what Run the Sims had for Tyrone Tracy ownership, because I don't even really remember. Tyrone Tracy on Run the Sims. Yeah, there you go. He was projected to be at 17%. So he came in at right about what the market expected him to be owned. And I was getting Tyrone Tracy in tons of plus EV lineups, right? Like, Tracy was coming in lineups that graded well for this field size. Now, Tracy, the inputs on the projections were a little bit wrong. It was not 55% rushes, 20% rushes. It was closer to 50-50. Tracy did play more of the passing down. So the passing stuff was, mostly correct. I mean, obviously Tracy sucked, so it feels pretty bad. But again, is that a play that you feel bad about looking back? Like, oh man, I obviously shouldn't have played Tracy. I don't think so. I think that had he come in at 37% owned, a play that feels much worse in this lineup is Kamani Vidal. Kamani Vidal at 29.8%. That is really bad. You can't be playing guys that are that marginal into that level of ownership. The ownership on Run the Sims, the projected ownership for Kamani Vidal was 15%. So he was twice as owned as the ownership projections had him. And maybe ETR or whatever had him a little bit better. So even before getting into the results, even before, yes, as Nick notes, Vidal should have Giga Smashed. Yeah, he probably should have Giga Smashed. He did not Giga Smash. He generated 30 rushing yards, 1 target, and that's it. Ended up getting outrun by Jarrett Patterson in the end. you know, it's not a good play. Knowing that he was 29.8%, there is a 0% chance that I would have played him. I would have played Kyron Williams. I would have played Ashton Genty. I would have done honestly anything else. Like it just is. These sorts of plays are basically the worst plays that you can make. The steamed middling projection plays. Because if we go look at the projections at the running back position, so we've got Kamani Vidal for 17, Kyron for 18, James Cook for 17, Jalen Warren for 17, Ashton Genty for 16, Trevion for 16, Tracy for 15, Chase Brown, and all these guys, that whole list of guys ended up being less owned than Kamani Vidal, but all the ownership flew to Kamani Vidal. GM, will we ever see a generational value like Bowers week 9 again in our lives? I don't know. I would bet that Bowers will never be 5,000 DraftKings dollars again. Maybe 20 years from now when he's about to retire. As Nick says, how good is Dart for fantasy? Dude is an absolute gamer. I just actually responded to someone who sent me a message about this on patreon.com/DavisMattic, where I answer fantasy football questions from all of you fellas all the time. He sent me a message saying, oh, do I want Caleb Williams or do I want Dart going forward? And what I said to him about that was, in any given game, I would rather start Jackson Dart. But for the rest of the season, I'd probably rather have Caleb Williams because Jackson Dart just keeps getting tackled. Like no quarterback likes getting tackled more than Jackson Dart. And he does need to learn to slide. He does need to learn to get out of bounds. And also his pass catchers need to stop dropping the ball. I don't know. I would have to go run like a filter for this, but I would guess he has lost, compared to the field, like all the other quarterbacks, just an insane amount of expected points on third downs. It's got to be like actually insane how much his receivers have let him down on third down or like other high leverage spots. So I played Monangai. I think I played Monangai on every team that I played. I didn't really see any reason to not play Kyle Monangai in a given lineup. I didn't think Travis Homer would really be involved. Funnily enough, Britton Brown got the rushing touchdown. No rushing touchdown for Monangai. 22 receiving yards, 176 rushing yards, 3 receptions. Got the bonus. GM, Purple Yosh. The wide receivers I played in the SPY, 34% own Rashee Rice. Obviously the perfect pairing with Mahomes. Like basically no world. Really, there's no world in fantasy football where you are playing Mahomes without Rice. It's just automatic. I also played Brian Thomas Jr. I feel pretty bad about playing Brian Thomas Jr. because the calculus that everyone made, which was Brian Thomas Jr., no Travis Hunter, it's going to all flow back to Brian Thomas Jr. This leap that we were expecting Travis Hunter to take is not going to happen. The offense is going to go back to its roots. Well, that was so misguided, right? Brian Thomas Jr. is having one of the weirdest, like, second seasons that anyone has ever had. Just miserable stuff. Brian Thomas Jr. did not look engaged. He finally made a good play. I don't remember if it was in the fourth quarter or in overtime, but he finally made a good play. He caught a ball on the right side, coming into the middle of the field on a crosser. Really nice run after catch, and then just immediate high ankle sprain. At the end of this run, sprains his ankle, comes back out onto the field for the next play, realizes that he can't turn, goes to the sideline. That's probably it for Brian Thomas Jr. I would guess that, frankly, I would probably guess that he just goes on the IR, doesn't play for a month after the high ankle sprain. And their wide receiving room is not great. It's down to Parker Washington, Tim Patrick, who I think maybe is also hurt, Austin Trammell, De'Ami Brown, and there's one other guy, Tim Jones. Tim Jones is the other wide receiver. They're also down Brenton Strange, remember their starting tight end, Brenton Strange, is on the IR, so they're playing Hunter Long and Johnny Munt. What's happening right now is the Jaguars are getting excuses for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is biding his time, adding some excuses up for himself. Ooh, that could be fun. Trading for Rashid Shaheed. That could be a fun move for the Jacksonville Jaguars to do. I play search Davis next time. I guess or search Maddox next time. I guess that's good. Listing, yes. A little bit of my biases came in there. I did just list De'Ami Brown after Austin Tramble. Just to look, no one will ever claim that I am an unbiased I'm an unbiased dictator, because I'm certainly not. So you guys tell me. I play Xavier Worthy at 4.2%. Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice each record 7 targets. Rashee Rice gets 1 run. Bad, good, indifferent. I mean, I sent this tweet out on X, the Everything app, earlier. Worthy has a 20% targets per route run. That is 39th in the National Football League. Matthew Golden has a 15% targets per route run. That is, I believe, 74th in the National Football League. Matthew Golden, or Jameson Williams, here you go. Here, I will pull the tweet up right here, and you guys can see the shit-eating grin on Jacob Sanderson's face as he looks at it. Worthy, 20% targets per route run. Golden, 74th. Jameson Williams, 86th. And there's Jacob, that snide, smug guy. So tilting. But the point being, I mean, obviously 4% is, it's hard to really say a 4% owned double stack guy is that bad. But as Nick says, the bigger issue is that Rice is just so much better than him. And also, I never thought that we would get here with this on Xavier Worthy. But Xavier Worthy is of the level of skill of a player that he needs Mahomes to play really well for him to get stats. Yes, honestly, this is true from Sus Edwards. Xavier Worthy is having a De'Ami Brown-ass season where Worthy is unable right now to create a ton of value on his own, and he needs Mahomes to create the value for him. And obviously, Mahomes is capable of doing that, did not do that on Sunday. This is a fair question from Andrew. Do the Chiefs let Worthy run actual routes, or is it all gimmick stuff? I mean, I am not that deep in the all 22 or whatever. My anecdotal observation would be that actually part of the problem is that Worthy is just running regular routes and is not that good at it. The regular routes, like here is his week 4, so his first game back from injury. These are all pretty normal routes, right? You've got some crossers here, you've got some stuff out of the backfield, you've got some your classic kind of Kansas City Chiefs stuff, but then also the the stuff up on the sideline. Yes, the Levitan tweet from about an hour ago highlighting that that Rashee has not, or that Worthy has not topped, I believe it, I don't think he's top 10 PPR points in any game that Worthy and Rice have played together since Xavier Worthy got drafted. So it's not great. I guess my opinion would be Xavier Worthy probably does not need the gadget stuff, but it would really, really help because all the gadget stuff is going to Rashee Rice. And so the issue is if you're giving all the gadget stuff to Rashee Rice, I mean, look at this. Look, I love Rashee. This right here is insanely gimmicky usage. Look, I mean, this is not ethical hooping from Rashee Rice. Let's just be really clear. The touchdown, fake. The crossers, fake. This is not Jamar Chase level stuff. And it's not to say that Rashi is clearly better, but this is like when they look up a definition of gimmick wide receiver. I mean, look at this. This route tree. This was the smash in week 8 against the commies. I mean, this is kind of the definition of non-ethical hooping. Now, part of that is you absolutely want your wide receivers to get statistics from non-ethical hooping. I mean, who's the only guy in the NFL who gets a ton of fantasy points from ethical hooping? You know who it is. It's JSN. JSN is the only ethical hooper in the National Football League. Here you go. Look at this. Look at this. So this is week 5. I don't honestly. Oh, against Tampa Bay. This right here. Yes, D-Boot knew it. Look at this. Look at this, bro. I mean, that is all. These are all real routes. This is all real route, real production. This was the Texans game. JSN is an ethical hooper. The all-time gimmick, I wonder, they might not even have this on. I would assume they don't even have next gen stat for Michael Thomas. Maybe they do. Michael Thomas. Here you go. Here's some all-time bullshit. Here's some this is the most fake. Michael, I liked Michael Thomas just fine, but my God, dude. Yeah, there was no one with faker NFL statistics of all time than Michael Thomas Jr. Oh, if Tet had a good quarterback, he would be a good ethical hooper. That's true. Yeah. And this is what Rashee Rice is doing. Rashee Rice is basically generating the same stuff that Rashee Rice is doing. Tyler, a new YouTube member. Salute to all my YouTube member boys. Can I get a Doug Baldwin route tree? I mean, I'm just assuming they do not have any. Doug Baldwin. When did Doug Baldwin retire? Let's 2018. Is there any chance that there's a Doug Baldwin in here? Doug Baldwin. There you go. Here's a Doug Baldwin route tree. There you go. Yes, we do. The issue is both Sammy and Nate have real jobs, Charlie. So it's just a little bit tougher to set it up with time. Now you guys are probably taking, you guys are maybe hearing me say that these statistics are fake or that they are in. Maybe when you hear unethical hooping, you think this is not repeatable. I'm saying the exact opposite. What MacNova is saying is 100% true. We want as many unethical hoopers as possible on our fantasy football teams. You want Rashee Rice. You don't want Tet McMillan. It's part of the issue. Guys like T. Higgins. T. Higgins gets no bullshit. No part of the Bengals game plan is about getting T. Higgins free fantasy points. You know, it's just not how it works. Michael Thomas ran a specific route tree and couldn't be stopped. I'd argue that's even less of a gimmick. Yes. Like, there is certainly an element of, okay, we'll go and stop it. Although the Bills did a pretty good job in the second half of stopping the Rashee Rice stuff. CMC. Well, Christian McCaffrey is interesting because he is both an ethical hooper and an unethical hooper. He's ethical in the sense that he handles 30 touchdowns a game or 30 touches a game, but unethical in the sense that he does get 10 free points every game from checkdowns, which is not ethical. In best ball, I want receivers who can score 30 plus, which are not unethical. Well, I think you'd be surprised. I think that part of the issue is that you know who is a little bit too ethical? Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson is way too ethical. We would prefer Justin Jefferson to get some of this Rashee Rice bullshit. Romeo Doubs, super ethical hooper. Yes, incredibly. Maybe Romeo Doubs could probably write a book. Do we think Romeo Doubs has ever gotten a design target? This is a good question. What do we think? I'm going to pull up the fantasy points data suite. What do we think the chances are that Romeo Doubs, I wonder if he literally does not have one design target this year. This is going to be really funny if it's literally 0. Packers designed targets. Romeo Doubs has one. It's week 9. Malik Heath has the same amount of designed targets as Romeo Doubs. Savion Williams has 5. Matthew Golden has 5. Tucker Kraft has 7. 1% of Romeo Doubs' targets are design targets. Is Waddle sneaky ethical? I'm gonna guess no, because I bet everything in their offense is only two design targets. I mean, Waddle has to win more of his individual battles than anyone else on the Dolphins, but he does get some bullshit. Did the defender mistime it, or is Brock Bowers a grown-ass man? I think Brock Bowers is just a grown-ass man. All of this is a very, very long digression to say, I mean, I think Xavier Worthy at 4% in Mahomes in that game environment was pretty good. Like not like, oh, he definitely should have been more owned, but I do think that it was okay. Like, not like, oh my God, Davis, you're the dumbest person alive. How could you play Xavier Worthy? Like, it was fine. I'll tell you what, I feel way, way, way worse about Brian Thomas Jr. at 16% than I do about Xavier Worthy at 4%. If Xavier Worthy was a B- play, then Brian Thomas Jr. was a fucking D-. That was the most long-winded cope I have ever heard. Well, I've had all day to think about this. I got a bunch of my busy work done this morning, so I've just had a long time to think about Xavier Worthy. Oh, Parker Washington is very real. Yeah, Parker Washington is going to score like Parker Washington's going to average like 11.9 fantasy points per game for a while. And then, okay, we got to get to the meat of the lineup. Brock Bowers, of all contests for Brock Bowers to not really be Giga Chalk, Brock Bowers against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 18.9%, 3 receiving touchdowns, 127 receiving yards, 6 rushing yards, 12 receptions, got the 100-yard bonus. Brock Bowers scored the most full-point PPR points of any player in the National Football League this year, more than Bo Nix, more than that Nuke St. Brown game, more than any of the McCaffrey games, more than any of the Jonathan Taylor games, more than the big Malik Neighbors game. Brock Bowers is a grown-ass man. If Parker is available in FFPC and you need a wide receiver, I'd spend like $300, $400 fab bucks on Parker Washington at this point. Yes, Colston Loveland, another big grown man performance from him yesterday. I played Vidal in the flex, and I played the Falcons defense. I think this lineup was like innate stuff. It was like a 5% sim ROI team. Not my best effort, and particularly not my best effort with the Kamani Vidal play. I think I'm inclined to agree with this, that Tyrone Tracy is simply just not very good at professional football. The winning team, honestly, I don't even know what won this. Holy shit. This guy gapped the field by 22 points. CPR Ryan, 0-24. scored 258.48 points. Second place scored 236.84. The winning team was Caleb Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Monangai, Rashee Rice, 3.5% owned T. Higgins, 4% owned Brock Bowers, 18% owned Trevion Henderson, 28.2, and the 1.2% owned Tennessee Titans defense. My God. Ooh, Loveland breakout or just playing Cincinnati? I think it's probably a little bit of both. I think it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, I think he had 5 for 59 until he had that one big last reception. So I definitely think you could say it's not like a full breakout. Wow. B Ziggs gifting 5 memberships to the channel. First off, if you get a membership, make sure to say thank you to B Ziggs and give him a big old salute. It's a good guy there, keeping us in business. Wow, congrats on joining the hashtag team. Thanks for, good luck. I need it, brother. I need it. Okay. So there you go. There's one other lineup I wanted to pull up on DraftKings. Because I think it's so funny how you can have the right read. Obviously, I played a ton of Bowers. You see Bowers on all these teams. The team that I played in the red zone, I made a horrible mistake here. Well, 2 horrible mistakes. So first, this team has Tracy again. Miserable. Kmet got a concussion yesterday. Keep the chief. A conky. So I did Caleb Williams, also 10%. Of course, I did him with Rome Odunze, not DJ Moore, not Colson Loveland. More annoying, I played George Kittle on this team for no reason. Simply should have just played Brock Bowers, but Caleb, Tracy, Monangai, Rice, Chase, Rome, Kittle, Hunt, and the Raiders. I really liked, obviously, Caleb Williams in this spot. But it's just sort of interesting to see the downfall in real time of diversification. Sometimes diversifying helps. Sometimes you really, don't want to diversify. Because this team was pretty close to being awesome. So like any running back other than Tracy, Caleb Williams, Zacchaeus, whoever, Loveland, but Bowers is the big miss here. Just obviously the things you needed to really ship yesterday was you needed Bowers and you needed Caleb Williams. And without that, there was no shipping happening, which is, just as always, a little bit unfortunate. But it's one of those things that is hard to balance in the time. Because obviously before lock, you're sitting there going, well, I don't want my whole day to rest on Bowers being the guy that I think he is, because then your day can honestly be ruined twice. Your day can be, oh, I was wrong in what I played, and I was wrong because I'm also an idiot. And as Giraffe notes, playing Caleb put you on a Dunze. I mean, there were 89 points scored in that game. If you tell me that 89 points were scored in that game, I mean, I probably play the Dunze on every team. It's just one of those things that happens, Honestly, I never went back to go look. Did any of my FanDuel GPP teams get close? 334th, 193rd. Oh, a Mahomes team just absolutely wrecked. Mahomes, Monangai. Oh my God. Look at that, dude. Had the force. Oh, sickening. Hard stuff to do over there on FanDuel. Okay. Thought it was a very interesting Battle Royale slate. If you guys were watching some of the stuff on the channel yesterday or last week, we really liked to draft early because there were some huge values available early. And then the Kyle Monangai thing really change the context of the slate, but it didn't change it that much. So I actually had a slight winning day yesterday because I got $800 back in the Battle Royale, and then I had a team finish relatively high up in the hurry up, had a team that felt pretty live in the fullback dive, had Brock Bowers in there, obviously, had Michael Pittman Jr., had Rashid, but then Mahomes just crapped out on a Monangai, Trevion Henry. Yes, and I was third place in the BR for a while for a team that ran out of steam. So what was my best team in the main BR? So my best team ended up in 192nd place. And boy, was that team pretty close to being fucking good, man. So had 31 points from McCaffrey, 17 from Kyron, 16 from Michael Pittman Jr., 34 points from Drake London, 37 from Brock Bowers. Obviously, the big thing I got right this last week was I did not look a gift horse in the mouth. I drafted Brock Bowers on 32.1% of my teams. I drafted a bunch of Patrick Mahomes. That ended up being a massive mistake. Drafted a bunch of Jefferson. I did something that you could argue is a mistake in hindsight and could have argued it at the time. But I was taking Jonathan Taylor over Christian McCaffrey sometimes, not every time. 17% of Christian McCaffrey, 24% of Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, one of the things that I would switch now would be I drafted 22% of Kamani Vidal, 17% of Kyle Monangai. Would really like to have swapped those. Drafted a lot of Brian Thomas Jr., which was quite a big mistake. Drafted a lot of Worthy because I had so much Mahomes. 9.9% of London feels pretty good, relatively speaking. I ended up pretty light on St. Brown because I liked Rashi quite a bit more. But it's hard to say, like, what does any of it matter? But it did feel like there was like a much better game out there for me. Had a Stafford Adams with Bowers. I mean, when you draft this much Bowers, you are always going to have a sweat. This was the team where I had probably the biggest amount of sweat. This team was in 5th when the noon games ended. Jared Goff at 35% drafted. McCaffrey, Monangai, Justin Jefferson, and T. Higgins, and then Samuel Laporta. This is gonna sound funny, Trevor. I really only play the PTPs when the Chiefs are on. That's like I like the concept of the PTPs, but they are pretty difficult, and I normally don't max them. I thought I was gonna lose everything. Was out with friends and checked my app. Bowers saved me from total wreckage. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'd have to go back and specifically look to see what really helped. I'm assuming Bowers really helped. So my team, I got 4th in the hurry up. The team was Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Trevion Henderson, Devontae Adams, Drake London, Brock Bowers. I assume if I take Kyle Monangai over Trevion Henderson on this team, I assume I win. Yes, correct. So I would have, what was the point difference? So 21-11. Yeah. So if I take Kyle Monangai over Trevion Henderson on this team, I win the contest. And our boy, Frog Clone, with the winner, Caleb Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Monangai, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, and Brock Bowers. So that was a Caleb Williams, DeAndre Swift that swapped on to Monangai. But, close enough to finding some pretty good teams in these. I wonder what my Deposit Kingdom team was. Okay. Yep. Shout out to Mahomes and Worthy. Just absolute, utter dog shit from my boy Xavier Worthy. 4.5 points. Man, it would be sick to win the Deposit Kingdom with Xavier Worthy, though. That would feel mighty fine. What was the guy who won the main BR? Unbelievable team. So the top 2 guys in the main Battle Royale, 174.82, 174.02, but then a huge gap. Like all the way down in 10th, they're like almost like 8 points behind. I climbed a mountain in Hawaii this week and wore the Slappy Seal shirt. We'll post a photo on Twitter later today at work. That certainly earns the Slappy Seal of approval. The winning team in the main BR was Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, and he did it with James Cook. Wow. So he did it with like a clear losing player. He had London 50% drafted, T. Higgins 21% drafted, Brock Bowers 95%. I mean, how crazy is that? The Bowers was 95% drafted. Incredible stuff, actually. So shout out to Joe Donald too, our boy T-Box with the Josh Allen, CMC, Jacobs, Adams, London, Bowers. I mean, all these teams are going to be Bowers. Fish Mob, who I believe is a Deposit Kingdom regular. Ooh, with the 3 wide receiver team, Allen, Bijan, Puka, T, London, Bowers. Trying to see if there's any other names we recognize up in here. Soccer Liam X, I believe that's our boy. Marker Tassel, Caleb, Bijan, Jacobs, Moore, London, Bowers. Do I allow my love for the Chiefs to affect some of my decision making? Absolutely. 100 million billion. Of course it does. Yeah, I have I am certainly very biased in Chiefs players directions. Is Brenton Strange coming back? He could be FFPC Gold. I honestly do not know. Brenton Strange, most recent result on Brenton Strange, not that Google News is going to work. I have no idea. I think it's time we crown Sammy D the MVP of the National Football League. Yeah, well, it's not going to be Mahomes now. So that's pretty interesting, right? Now that Mahomes is probably not going to win the MVP, who would you vote for MVP of the NFL? What would the okay, hold on. NFL MVP market. All right, so on FanDuel, Josh Allen is the favorite. I mean, Josh Allen can't possibly be the MVP of the NFL. Can he? Can Josh Allen win the MVP? Is Josh Allen even having a good season for like him? Like it feels like no. Like his not to say that Josh Allen is bad, but just like the statistics are not there. Josh Allen has he has 1,800 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and he's got 7 rushing touchdowns. I guess the rushing touchdowns, maybe. I don't know. I think I'd have an awful hard time voting on him. I think right now, if I had to vote, I'd vote for May right now. I mean, I would assume May is beating Josh Allen in every counting stat other than rushing touchdowns. Drake May has 17 passing touchdowns. He leads the NFL in completion percentage. And he has 2 rushing touchdowns instead of 7. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess probably Josh Allen will win it, but it will not be deserved. This would be like one of the shitty, like this would be like one of the LeBron ones that they shouldn't have gotten. Well, I don't think you're allowed to win comeback player of the year when you're coming back from being a felon. Yeah, Stafford. I mean, Stafford, you want to talk about, if we're talking about ethical hooping, is Matt Stafford the ethical hooper of all time? So Stafford has 2,100 passing yards and leads the NFL in passing touchdowns. May also beat him in Buffalo. Allen leads all quarterbacks in fantasy points per game. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Josh Allen probably will win. Certainly would not be the player that I would vote to win the MVP. And I mean, I don't know. It doesn't really have anything to do with. Don't get me wrong. I am an absolute Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills hater. So, yeah, I think if I had a vote, which I don't, I think I'd probably vote May right now. That seems like the correct decision. I don't know. Didn't think we would be talking about the 2025 MVP race, but there you go. Okay. What if Ravens went out? I don't Lamar can't win MVPs. Play like 8 games. That they'll never do that. All right. I have not checked FFPC yet. I really hope that we are not walking into a bloodbath here. So loss in Dynasty. Here is Destroyer. This is a team with the high stakes boys, the ship chasing boys. High stakes check-in time. All right, we've got fucking Jordan Love. We are up 5 points with George Pickens versus Marvin Harrison Jr. I assume this is to stay alive. Oh, no. Mahomes can't win it now because he lost to Allen head-to-head. That's just how she goes. All right. So this team, assuming it gets a win tonight, is just barely on the edge of still being in playoff contention. So it really needs to get that W tonight. Alchemy is down 103 to 135. It's 7-1. It's the 1 seed on record, and it is like 2nd or 3rd in the league in points. And we have tonight. Okay, so the opponent is done. We are down 32, and we have CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. Ooh. What do you guys think there? We're down 32, and in tight end premium, we have CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. We are projected to get there by 2 points. Oh my God. That'll be a rather disgusting sweat, actually. And that's pretty big because we have a chance to win both top points and top record in this league. And if you win top points and top record, you get like a sweep bonus. So you get, I think it's like $6,000 cash, which is pretty nice. Would basically pay for our entire season. Okay, so that team, we got a good sweat there. This team is dead. This is the team that's co-owned with Ron Stewart. We are dust here. This team had a bunch of commanders on it. It's totally dead. Arcade Fire. Totally dead. So we can stop checking that team. All right. All right. Life of a Showgirl. Shout out Taylor Swift. This team is dead if it doesn't find a way to get a win here. Oh, actually, technically, we're the 4 seed on points. 1,130 points. Wow. We have a team in our league that has 1,300 points. No, we'll do elims right after this. Okay. Do we have any outs in this one? So we are facing Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brandon Aubrey. We are down 3. Oh my God. We need an all-time. We need so much PPR scamming from Jake Ferguson here. We need like 12 receptions from Jake Ferguson. We probably need a 30 ball from Ferguson. We are projected to lose by 15. Stafford was on the bench for Lamar. I guess that's whatever. And then we had no other points. Yeah. So we actually started the perfect lineup. Oof. I believe it's 2K for 1 seed, 2K for 2 seed, and then there's a 1K side. Oh, you're right. You're right. Yes. That is correct, MacNova. I was mentally adding in the money of when you win the playoffs. By the way, I know from looking at this that I'm absolutely fucked in the elim, and I'm probably dead there. Okay, one more. Okay, this is the team. This is another team that needs the Ferguson PPR scam. We are down 93 to 114. We got 3 points from Kamani Vidal. We started Brashard Smith over Harvey. We got 0 points from Roma Dunze. We did get 16 from JMO, 18 from Rashi Rice. Harvey over Brashard, brutal. Difference between Seattle and Jacksonville defense, also kind of brutal. But this team sitting there as the 6th seed, basically dead if we don't get the win this week with not Karain, sorry, with JJ, Zachariason, Evan Silva, Rich Rebar, and Pat Thorman. Fuck, man. That Adunze 0. 3 points from Vidal, 0.7 points from that's tough to take. Then here is a Brock Bowers team. We win 186.25 to 162.9. We got Jackson Dart, A-Chain, Kareem Hunt, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, Rondé Gadsden. How about that? 49.3. 49.3 from Brock Bowers. GM Devin, what up? Shout out to Dink on Roma Dunze. All right. I postponed it long enough, but it's gonna be a sad end to Eliminator season. I got killed. Wait till you guys see what happened to me in the elim. Oh. Elim. There you go. So I've got this matchup against BFink24. So right now I'm winning, but I am done at quarterback. I got 37 points from Caleb Williams. I do not have any other running backs left to play. Currently 4 points from Jahmyr Gibbs is counting. 0 from Garrett Wilson. 0 from Calvin Ridley. 0 from Roma Dunze. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Basically the Rome 0 ended this team. Total dust because BFink has Dak to overtake the Rodgers points. He didn't get anything from Bijan, but he got 27 from Dowdle. He has Javonte Williams left to go. He has George Pickens left to go. He wins. He only has to make up 4 points. So he will be winning that one. I'm currently losing this one, 114 to 127. I do have Dak left to go this evening. I have no more running backs left to go. Mike Evans was a 0. I have George Pickens left to contribute points over Shaheed, Hollywood, Wandale. I believe, okay, 6.7 points from Jonathan Taylor will be replaced. But the issue is he has... So I guess technically George Pickens could maybe get there with me in this one. Unless I'm looking at this incorrectly. Let me pull up the eliminator view over on BBMDB. So against D Belgian Boy, I'm 23%. I'm down 114 to 127. So I have Dak left to go at quarterback. We shared Jonathan Taylor. I have George Pickens left to go. He is done at wide receiver. So basically, I guess to win this one, I will need Dak to outscore Lawrence by, 5, 6, 7 points. Like basically like Dak gets to 30. Then I also need George Pickens to outscore. I need George Pickens to outscore 9.3 point or 8.3 points by 17. So I need 30 points from George Pickens basically at the end of the day. Can George Pickens get 30? I mean, probably not. But if he can, then I can end up advancing this one because actually, yes. Yes, 6.7. 6.7. No one is a must-have in elims. It's all luck. It's all luck. I mean, there are lots of ways to build eliminator teams, but there is no one player who is a must-have. The reason why I lost this one, so he gets, nothing from his running backs, he gets nothing from his wide receivers. He uses a Theo Johnson point, but D Belgian boy got 37.3 points from Brock Bowers. So, shout out to him. I only need 20 from, I think I'm down by a little bit more than that. I think I need 23 from George Pickens if I'm actually doing my math correctly. So if I get 23 from George Pickens, shout out to me for doing that. I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be fun, but it's probably the end of the road for me in the eliminator. Would be beautiful to keep going, but I think that we're probably done. But good news, my team with Chess Liam generated a win this week. Let me pull this up here. So Liam tweeted this out that our team got the win this week. Justin Herbert, Jared Goff, Michael Penix Jr. So we have 3 quarterbacks who are all still alive. We have Christian McCaffrey alive, Harvey alive, A-Chain alive, Dobbins is alive, Marks is alive, Kendre Miller is dead. We banked 18 points from Demario Douglas, 14 points from Jameson Williams, 9 points from Rashid Shaheed. We got what? We got like 22 from Jackson Smith and Jigba last night. Mike Evans is dead. Matthew Golden might as well be dead. Darnell Mooney might as well be dead. And then 19 points from Dalton Kincaid, and Kyle Pitts is alive as well. So it does sound like this team is going to be advancing. So shout out to my boy Chess Liam for continuing that team there. And I hope we win. I mean, I hope that actually here I can just look up our opponent here. Chess Liam. Can just look up what happened there. We played Wobby Cakes. And he is done. Looks like he got who? Okay. I mean, he just ran out of points. Really, at the end of the day, he just ran into a buzzsaw. Devonta Smith on bye, Cooper Kupp out, Breece Hall on bye. Wow, a CMC and Jonathan Taylor team dead. If anyone needed a win, it was Liam. I'm miraculously projected to get 2.6 out of 3 elims through. Hell yeah, Purple Yosh. Yeah. What do I think about the Bowers ADP and PTP? I bet it's probably too low. I don't know, whatever it is, it's probably too low. I haven't looked at the PTP yet. So there we go, boys. That is a look at all of the. Oh no, one more thing. We're gonna do the Best Ball Mania leaderboard show on Wednesday. I'm just gonna turn that show. Well, if I'm still here on Wednesday, but my advance rates were depressing me, and I don't really want to talk about. I'm not advancing like any teams. Bowers scored like 1 billion points, and I don't want to be depressed today. I think Braylon Allen's probably done for the year, brother. Sounds like he tore his knee, and yeah. Probably not great. Bowers ADP is 6.3, but last night it was 10. Well, sounds like the winner probably already got drafted. All right. High stakes check-in over on the NFFC. Let's go. First team. This is the co-owned team with Soccer Dave. We're pulling out a win there. Josh Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Olave, Shakir, Coleman, Colston Loveland, 29 burger, Juwan Jennings in the flex, Colts kicker 49ers defense. We do not have any good players on the bench. Oh, Devonta Smith we have on the bench and Harold Fannin. So that leaves us where we are second place in the league. The team with Nate, we are down to 6th in the league. And we did get a huge loss this week against my boy Chris. Damn, we only scored 125 points. Started JJ McCarthy at quarterback with Brock Purdy out. We have Barkley on the bench. So maybe Barkley coming back can help us, but we're probably leaning closer to dead there. Silver Bullet with Michael Leone. We are down 105 to 179. We have Michael Carter Jr., George Pickens, and Trey McBride left to play. Stats, live scoring. Where are we at in this league? We're in 4th in the league. So we are fighting. We are fighting the good fight. Bowers saved my day yesterday. Through Brock Bowers, all things are possible, man. Through Brock Bowers, all things are possible. So that's where we're at, boys. Brock Bowers, he's just a grown-ass man. Feeling okay about the DFS stuff. I actually feel pretty good about the DFS stuff. Relatively good day in the Battle Royale streets. High-stakes teams are in okay spots. And I know exactly what to root for tonight, which is I need a ton of George Pickens points. Just like every play, I'm going to be rooting for George Pickens. All right, let's head over to the Dawg app and let's do a pick 'em. Do we have a boost? No boost. All right, toss it out to me. What do we want to do for our pick 'em tonight? Monday Night Football pick 'em. Start tossing them out to me, boys, and then we'll head over and we'll do our first Battle Royale of the week, and then we can go run the Sims for Monday Night Football Showdown. Zay Jones yards. All right, Zay Jones, I'm gonna have to sell myself on that one. What's the theory? Ooh, scored 209 with Fidel. My goodness, man. All right. Arizona Cardinals wide receivers. Zay Jones on the season is running 62% of the routes. If we filter it for just the Brissett games, 52% of the routes, 8% of the targets. CD touchdown. Brisket attempts, Javonte touchdown. All right, there we go. Well, I will do that. I will take a Javonte touchdown. The first thing I'm going to do, I got to take over 12.5 fantasy points for Pickens. Higher. Jake wants Brisket attempts. Okay. We will do Jacoby Brissett passing attempts. 35.5. Can I slide it down? No, we're just going to do it. 35.5. We'll do my boy David Russell wants a Sedarian Lamb touchdown. Longest reception, Michael Wilson. What do we think Michael Wilson's longest reception has been this season? Michael Wilson is 15.5 longest reception. Michael Wilson, Pro Football Reference. Michael Wilson has topped 15 2 times in the entire year. Last 2 games with Brissett, 67 yards. All right. Sold. We'll do Zay Jones yards. I'm going to slide him down to 14.5 actually though. What would Pickens 99 point? That's kind of an interesting one. Pickens 99. What kind of multiplier can we get there? 1 point. You know what? We'll do that instead. We'll do that. There you go. We will do that instead. Can I make it specifically Javonte's touchdown as a 1-yarder after a CD or Pickens penalty or pass interference penalty in the end zone? That would probably pay pretty good. Javonte, Brissett, Zay Jones. I would like to do. Can I do 5.5 receptions higher on Ferguson? Just say it's like a total crazy drop back game. And then we can do a Dak. Can we do Dak completions? Oh, it does let us do that. Okay. Dak completions. There we go. I know this is probably going to hit, but I cannot put a Jaden Blue lower in. All right. Then let's do Greg Dortch receptions. I'm going to slide that down to 0.5. That gets us to 45x. That's with 7. Can we do a DeMercado lower? Nope, can't do a DeMercado lower. You know what? And then let's just slide Sedarian all the way down. And that is a 60xer right there. Yeah, you can do 2 picks for the same player. Is Justin Herbert without Joe Alt just Jameis Winston? He's probably a little bit better than that. All right. Let's toss in $5 to win 301 champions dollars for a little Monday Night Football action. Bada bing, bada boom. We've got Javonte Williams touchdown, Brissett higher passing attempts, Zay Jones higher than 14.5 receiving yards, George Pickens higher than 99.5 receiving yards, slid him all the way up. Jake Ferguson higher than 5.5 receptions, Dak higher than 25.5 completions, Greg Dortch to get 1 or more receptions, and CeeDee Lamb higher than 15.5 receiving yards. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. There we go, boys. Got that cooked. Let's do, you know what? I'll do one. Is there a primetime bash? Ooh, they just did a new contest, the 4th quarter. There you go. 2 of 12, 2 of 5, 1 of 4, 370 person final, $15K to first place in the 4th quarter. All right, we'll do one PTP, Sedarian, Javonte, done, save, drafts. Little PT. Do they not have is Battle Royale not up yet? Is it just the playbook? There's no BRs yet? Monday, Thursday, prime time, Palooza. My highest scoring BBM team is a Dak team with CD and Pickens. Needs Bucky to come back. Yeah. No, Alex, I'm gonna wait until Wednesday to look at the Best Ball Mania teams because they were depressing me to look. All right, well, I guess we're gonna have to do a playbook. Unless they want to launch. It is almost playoff best ball season. That's true. I would expect it to probably come after this week. Do I want to take Javonte? What's the tight end situation? Oh, Bowers is there. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to take Javonte. I'm not surprised you played Mahomes and KC and play it again. You must love the burn. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the projections really like the Chiefs last week? I think maybe I'm missing your point, brother. Rico Dowdle against the Saints, first round pick. Almost has to be. Almost has to be a first round pick. Although I guess I have not looked. I've not looked that close. Only have one weekly winners team. One quarterback, one tight end as Ertz Bowers. Wow. Interesting. I mean, I actually don't really think it was that weird of a game. I think they were just bad. All right. Javonte, okay. Well, and we didn't even get a chance. All right, I'm going to take Gene T. So we didn't even get a chance to get Bowers. A little bit unfortunate. James Cook may set records this week against Miami. You know what? Hot take. I actually think Marvin Harrison Jr. can have a good game against Dallas. If not now, when? Did I mess up trading away Rico? It depends on what you traded him for. I sent Rico and Sutton for QJ and Henry. I mean, would not be how I would have played the situation, but everyone plays fantasy football a little bit differently. All right, so we have Javonte, Ginty, Marvin Harrison Jr. What's scroll wide receiver looking like? We've got not much. Wide receiver is dark. Kind of like Pat Bryant, actually. We'll do Trey Tucker and then set up a Geno team. No, my drafters teams are dead. My most drafted players on drafters were all a bunch of rookies who suck. Not even rookies, honestly, just like a bunch of guys who stink. My best drafters team is in 3,617th place. All right, and at tight end, we will do, Michael Mayer. We'll just set it up, knock it down, and we'll do Geno and then do Brissett. Put that on autopilot. That's a weird PTP. 2 years ago, way too early wild card came out Tuesday after week 9, which would be tomorrow. Can't find last year because Twitter search does not work. Tough. Very, very strange PTP slate. Like just basically like a gigantic drop off after Ginty. And a huge, the wide receiver goes from Marvin Harrison Jr., Sutton, and then to a bunch of guys who stink, which is very, very, oh, look at that. Ask and she receive. Ask and ye shall receive. Battle Royale is up. Shout out to us. Jonathan. It's beautiful. All right. So, man, how do I feel about this slate? Michael Carter is probably a good pick in this slate. Dortch, Lockett, Tolbert, Bryant for scrolls. That's probably about it as it pertains to scrolling. Yeah, double tight end I think is good. I definitely don't want Mayer over Troutman. The Wildcat will be up. It just won't come up right away. Geno, Javonte, Genty, MHJ, Tucker, Mayer. Wow. All right, here we go. Oh, damn, the DBQ is up too. All right, Battle Royale. Let's hop on in to this. How about it, boys? Remember when you asked for World Cup dailies? Is that possible at all? I don't think so. I don't think so. They have shown no indication that they are going to do it. Imagine winning BR in week 10 being the second best thing to happen to you this week. Yeah, shit, I might not even be able to max enter week 10 BR. Totally, very possible that we're not able to do it at all. Okay, so we got the 101, so we will add in Christian McCaffrey. These are the games in this slate. No, actually, hold on. Let's pull up the unabated totals for these games. All right, so starting, we have a 39.5 total for Panthers Saints, 48 total for Giants Bears, 49.5 point total for Dolphins Bills, 37.5 for Jaguars Texans. My God, 36.5 for Browns Jets. 36.5. My God. All right. McCaffrey, gotta do it. 48 for Ravens Vikings. Lamar in the dome. 48 for Patriots Bucks. 44.5 for Cardinals Seahawks. 50.5 for Rams 49ers. 50.5 for Commies Lions, but that's going to be Marcus Mariota starting. All right. Well, man. Bowers plays on Thursday. Saw some discussion of people being mad at Underdog for draft issues on the apps. Did you hear any of it? I heard about it. I did not experience any of it. Or one time I think I got logged out of the app when I was in the middle of drafting, but I have not had near as much of the negative experience as a lot of the other people have had. All right, so first round goes CMC, Gibbs, Puka. The ADP is still messed up from the playbook, so Allen and Lamar are still here. James Cook goes to the turn. St. Brown, A-Chain, Henry. I'm picking at the turn. Dowdle is there. Jefferson is there in the dome. McBride is there. McBride is going to be an absolute jam this week. Look how bad tight end is. Holy crap, dude. You're going to want to have like 35% McBride this week, I think. Now, how fast is running back? Running back falls off pretty quick, but wide receiver falls off quick too. Man, I got to say, last week's slate gave me the warm fuzzies. I'm not so much getting warm fuzzies here. I would assume that Jaden Daniels is probably out for the year because he dislocated his elbow. I would assume that would mean an IR stint. The Washington Commanders are minus 10,000 to miss the playoffs, and they are, I think, 22-1 to make the playoffs. So I basically assume no Jaden Daniels this year. Man, I cannot wait to do a little DBQ action. What does this mean for Commanders Cowboys week 17? Sadly, what it means for Commanders Cowboys week 17 is that it's probably going to be a meaningless game. That game probably is not going to have any impact on the standings. If he needs surgery, he might be back by the playoffs. The issue is the Commanders are not going to be in the playoffs. The Washington Football Commanders are going to miss the playoffs pretty easily. Yeah, I think you can definitely drop, because I would assume that Jaden Daniels will go on the injured reserve. I mean, I've never dislocated my elbow before, but I'm guessing it's pretty painful. Yeah, the Daniels second year slump has been tough. You know who it's been extra tough on? It's been extra tough on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. The Commanders have not played. When is the last time the Commanders led in a game? Man, that's an interesting question. The last time the Washington Football Commanders led in a game, they led at no point against the Chiefs. They led at no point against the Seahawks. They never led against the Cowboys. Did they ever have a lead against the Bears? They did have a 6-0 lead against the Bears. And Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt was pretty good in that game. Okay. Quarterback. I mean, I think I'm going to do the Caleb thing again. Caleb. We could take Brees, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy. Oh, all right. Well, got to do it. I'm going to take Rome. Off the 0. The Seahawks look like Super Bowl contenders. Yeah. I'm worried that Sam Darnold is gonna wait too long for to rear his head. I cannot get the image of Sam Darnold like very clearly seeing ghosts in the playoff game for the Minnesota Vikings. It's very hard. It's kind of the same reason. It's the, you know what it is? It's the reverse thing of like the Chiefs or like the peak Brady stuff where it's like, I don't care how shitty these guys look in the regular season. They have the institutional memory. They or just like the genetic memory, like the pre-knowledge of how good they're going to be in the playoffs, basically, which is just kind of funny. Yeah, same kind of goes for Daniel Jones. Like no one was surprised that Daniel Jones played really bad yesterday, which I think is kind of interesting. Like Daniel Jones, like legitimately played horrible against the Steelers, and everyone was like, "Yeah, that's kind of how she goes." You know what can you do, man? What can you do? I guess that's just how she works, man. Tough scenes. All right. And we need a running back. So Montgomery against the Commies, Monungai. Do you do the Swift Q tag or the air? Maybe we take a Q tag here. You know what? No, you know what, Davis? Believe in just take Breece Hall. Just take Breece Hall. Breece Hall is a much better pick. The move in early in the week might be to take the Q tag guys, though. You can see some 9-8 Vikings team roll into Seattle as 8.5-point dogs and win outright. Absolutely. Now, this is definitely true. As a prospect, Daniel Jones was not in the same realm. He was honestly a pretty bad prospect to me. Didn't think he was very good. All right, let's go do our very first 12-man Dog Bowl qualifier. Oh, I gotta set ranks. Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, sure, whatever. Drafts, Dog Bowl qualifier. All right, here we go. We need one more. First Dog Bowl qualifier. Honestly, I don't think this is true. I don't think it's true that if you stop Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones turns into Daniel Jones. I think that was just a terrible, no good, awful game. That's really what I think. Sometimes you just have a bad day at the office, right? And they had a really bad day at the office. Not every, sometimes you're not at your best at work. Sometimes I'm not at my best at work, right? That's just the way she goes. All right. The Dog Bowl qualifier, our first one of the week. Things are going to be a little bit tricky here in 12-man. So the quarterback 12 is Trevor Lawrence. We have McCarthy, who's a scroll. Russell Wilson with an ADP. Kyler Murray. Mariota against Detroit. There you go. Mariota against Detroit. There is your nice early week scroll rather. At running back, you've got Mason clickable, you've got Marks clickable, you've got Henderson clickable, you've got Rashad White, if Bucky gets ruled out, is going to be a smash. Singletary is clickable down there. Bam Knight is very, very clickable. I know that Trey Benson is eligible to return, but that one could easily work well for you. Scroll wide receivers. Parker Washington. I probably shouldn't have even said that because he's going to get picked in this. Christian Kirk, revenge game against Jacksonville. Are the Saints on this slate? Where is Shaheed? Shaheed at wide receiver 22. Okay, so people know. People are very hip to that happening. Yeah, honestly, and the Steelers just do this, man. The Steelers basically will always find a way of giving a good team a bad day. It's basically just what they do. All right, so all the good picks are getting taken. We basically are going to have to decide, do we want to take an injured Puka? Do we want to do A-Chain? Man, Bucky Irving second round Q tag is tough. Fuck, running back is brutal this week. My goodness, running back is bad. All right, Lamar is back at Minnesota in the Dome. God forbid, man. We're taking the big dog. The big doggerino. Hey, I guess he was okay last week. He really wasn't. He was actually probably pretty bad. What do you have? Like, how many rushing yards did Derrick Henry have last week? I guess he had 119 yards. He just didn't score. Colts pass to lead, run to win. Didn't work this time. Yeah, well, yeah. Henry had a better game than I remembered. I fell asleep before the fourth quarter, so that's just the way she goes. I again, the Minnesota matchup obviously is not that good. I mean, David Montgomery had a terrible time with them last week. I guess honestly, it feels like probably the way to win this week is you bink the right injury read at running back. Could be Ramondre plays, could be Ramondre doesn't play and you took Henderson, could be Aaron Jones doesn't play and you get to swap to Jordan Mason. Could be Devin Singletary runs well against Chicago. Could be Trey Benson doesn't come back. What's the latest on Trey Benson? Is his practice window? So if his practice window doesn't get open, like what is his ADP going to be? Yeah, what will Bam Knight's ADP be in these games if he has a good game on Monday night against Dallas and Trey Benson is ruled out? Like, because Trey Benson is still very much on IR. It's just he's eligible to be activated this week. And I don't think that it's a hard read. He had a meniscus tear on his knee. That's not a especially easy thing to recover from. Yeah, the problem with Benson is that he is the out tag. Yeah, you definitely can't take Benson. It's more about, do you want to be farming round 7 or round 6 Bam Knight? And honestly, the answer might be yes. So in this lobby, we have E. Coxer, we got my boy Chad Candles, we got Lee 121,503, Easy 116, T Money Time, got my boy Charles Go AZ Cards, GPNGC, Nez, Top Stat NFC, Tyler C, Mr. T Cage, and Dab K. Got all the boys here. I guess I could take Q-Tag Swift. Fuck, this sucks. This is miserable. I am miserable. I'm just going to take Quinshon Judkins. I do not like Kamara. I do not like DeAndre Swift with the Q-Tag, and I don't even think I like him anyway. JCM. It's like, dude, what is JCM going to do with Mariota? JCM is like losing goal line work to Chris Rodriguez. He's losing third downs to McNichols. Honestly, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is Isaiah Pacheco, but on a shitty team. And Isaiah Pacheco on a shitty team is not a very good pick. I guess that is what it is. What can you do? All right. So if we have Henry and Judkins at quarterback, we would be targeting Purdy's kind of interesting. Is Brock Purdy ever going to play a game? Or is Purdy just going to be Q-tag for the rest of the season? You know, it is ironic since we all wanted Bill to be the next Pacheco. Rough if you're at the back of the board, stuck with all the Q-tags that you feel icky about. Yes. Yeah, if you're on the right side of the board, like Bucky Irving might be a smash. I'd probably rather have Bucky Irving healthy in this spot over Derrick Henry. All right, my boy does not think Brock Purdy will be back for a while. Then probably I shouldn't take him, but I kind of want to. I guess Goff. What is JMO? Where's JMO at? Jameson Williams is at 53.4. JMO against the Commies. I mean, he did make a hell of a play last week. One of the most incredible athletic catches I've ever seen in my life from Jameson Williams. Shanahan got his guy. Finally, he did finally get his guy, one Mr. McCorkle Jones. All right, so if I skip on wide receiver at this pick and I take a quarterback, I'm looking at like Marvin Harrison, honestly. Juwan Jennings at wide receiver 26. Parker Washington. Parker Washington's definitely a click right now. Tesla, no. Judy, maybe. Kirk, yes. Douglas, yes. Zacchaeus, unclear if Luther Burden will miss again. You could probably click Zacchaeus, honestly. Maybe you could click Burden. I don't know. There's some interesting names down there at wide receiver. Got second in the Wildcat yesterday, but chopped it 5 ways. A win is a win. Don't let them take that away from you, brother. Absolutely do not let them take that away from you. That's a shipper. Easy's got Gibbs and Nico. Chad went Manungai. All right, so Chad is not scared. Chad said, Q-tag be damned. DeAndre Swift be damned. He is eating that closing line value on Kyle Manungai. I mean, what if DeAndre Swift is ruled out, Manungai is going to be a first-round pick. So, like, the 6-mans are definitely not a game of closing line value. The 12-mans are, you get huge edge in the 12-mans in closing line value. Chris Olave, do I dare? I do not want to take Chris Olave. What I am going to do is I'm going to take Jordan Addison or Reno. I know we only had 4 targets last week, but they played with the lead the entire time. I don't want to overstate things. Like, I don't think that JJ McCarthy was like an MVP candidate or anything last week, but he was pretty good, right? In that game. I mean, I think that JJ McCarthy was solid. I'd rather have him than any Carolina Panthers. And I think this is right. I think that it's okay to accept that you are just going to lose some of the 12-man drafts, because the reward of getting a first-round pick in the 3rd round, like in a 6-man BR, it doesn't mean anything. But in the 12-mans, it means a ton. You've accessed a totally different team. Like, if the team comes out and says to us right now, well, DeAndre Swift, he's not really that close to returning. So because DeAndre Swift is not close to returning, we're moving forward with Kyle as our back. He will go ahead of Kyren Williams. He probably settles right here. He's going to settle in this Breece Hall, Bucky Irving, Kyren Williams range. People are saying it was the greatest 143-yard passing performance of all time, and I agree with those people. I think those people are right. Excellent preparation for drafting dead playoff best ball teams, which we are stunningly close to doing. I do wonder if they maybe hold off on it for a little bit of time, because they did these fourth quarter drafts. Because they haven't done best ball resurrection. They did the 1st quarter, the 2nd quarter, the 3rd quarter, and the 4th quarter. Dab K, I think, with a pretty sharp pick there, taking Tyrone Tracy. Like, Tracy was obviously really bad last week, but he probably is going to be, I mean, he's going to be the lead back against a pretty bad Chicago Bears defense. Buy when there's blood in the streets. And maybe I bought too high here on Jordan Addison. JJM played much better than Bryce Young, and people go around parading his 101 yards and 0 touchdowns. The Bryce Young and Jordan Love both threw some of the worst interceptions I have ever seen in my life in that Green Bay Carolina game. Unbelievably bad. The Love interception was horrible. The Bryce interception was maybe even worse. It was like an arm punt, but it was in the red zone. It was such a terrible throw. All right, so JCM is still there in round 4. I regret to inform everyone that that's probably a pretty good pick. No reason to take any of these tight ends. They're basically all the same. I've got my eye on one wide receiver. I'm sorry, man. Marvin Harrison Jr. with Brisket at quarterback is definitely pickable in the 4th round. Also, someone has already won. This is actually true. Someone has already won a Dawg Bowl qualifier with, I think, 5 points from Marvin Harrison Jr., which is just very funny. There's always someone dragging the team down. The Love 4th down dropped interception was one of the funniest plays of the year. Yeah. The Green Bay Packers stink. Green Bay Packers absolutely murdered me in Survivor last week. I took them in a bunch of different spots. Sickening. Should have just taken the Chargers. Learn your lesson. Yeah, rumor has it that someone we knew won a Dawg Bowl qualifier, dragging a terrible Jacoby at least 1 week. I am an underdog to win this week in FFPC with Marvin McBride. Opponent has Brissett. Do I have to pivot Harrison to Bam Knight? You certainly do not have to. I would think you probably should, though, because Knight's role is not going to be in the receiving game at all. So I actually think that is probably wise of you to sort it out. Is Marvin Harrison Sr. versus the Cardinals OC good or bad? Versus Marvin, I have no idea. Yeah, honestly, just never bet on LaFleur to coach a solid game. Something is rotten in Green Bay, man. Love gets more of a free pass than he deserves. Imagine if Kyler or Lawrence have the same play. And it's really just because Love won the one good playoff game. He won that playoff game versus Dallas, and it was just like all was forgiven for him forever. The Packers have this incredible defense. They also have a bunch of really good, like, I know we make fun of the Packers wide receivers, but like they're all pretty good. Like Romeo Doubs, pretty good. Matthew Golden gets open pretty decent. Mark, I just don't think there's any way that the Cardinals can trade Kyler Murray. He makes like $1 bazillion. He makes so much money. So I think it would be very tough. Who would be the team trading? I don't even know who the team would be that would trade for Kyler Murray. What team does, I guess the Raiders maybe could convince themselves. Who else? The Jets. Who else is I don't know, man. I guess the Jets. I guess the Saints could probably talk themselves into trading for Kyler Murray. That's true. All right, we have got Derrick Henry, Quinshon Judkins, Jordan Addison, Marvin Harrison. So I suppose what I have to decide is, do I want to take JJ McCarthy or do I want to try and play quarterback roulette here? do I want to try and take Jacoby Brissett? It feels probably too thin. So I probably should take my tight end first. And I already have 2 Ravens players, but why is Mark Andrews still there? How high am I? I am going to take Mark Andrews. How high am I on Loveland rest of season? I'd probably put him in like the tight end 5 to 8-ish range. Obviously, Bowers first, McBride second, Warren third. And then you could kind of put him wherever you want after that. I think he's probably still a tier worse than Warren because the Komet snaps are not going to 0. The Browns are going to keep Shadur hostage his whole rookie contract. I mean, honestly, it sounds like the Browns would probably love to not have Shadur on the roster. I think the Cleveland Browns would be fine to not have Shadur Sanders in the building. Doesn't sound like anyone in that building is all that enthused with what Mr. Sanders has done in practice or whatever, which is like, that happens. Shadur is a prospect that we thought was pretty good, and turns out that he's just not that good. And that's okay. Rome and DJ are still the 1 and 2 options. I think there is certainly room for Colston Loveland to out-target DJ Moore for the rest of the season. Maybe that might even be, Dabk's so fucking sharp over here. Parker Washington. Dabk has a sick team, actually. Kyron, Igbuka, Tracy Mayfield, Parker Washington, Hunter Henry. Did we just give Dabk the winner on a Monday? I think we might have. We really might have just given him the winning shipper on a Monday. That's a really good team. All right, and then we are gonna take Mr. McCarthy. Holy shit, who took him? Top stat, my God. Oh, we are down astronomically. Oh, Top stat, brother. Why did you do that to me? I mean, he is Jefferson. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, this team will not be winning. Fuck. All right, do I take Mariota for the points? God. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take Purdy, and then I will be able to do whatever I want with Arizona quarterbacks later in the week. No, see, so you can't go Brissett, because what if Brissett just sucks? Like, what if all the magic ends with Brissett and then Kyler? Then I'm stuck with a 0 at quarterback. So I'm going to take Purdy and be able to get the swap. Maybe I can swap to Kyler. Maybe I can swap to Brissett. Maybe I can swap. Maybe Purdy just plays. My God. Oh, that was not how I wanted that to go. Not that Top Stat like made a mistake or anything. I mean, probably good for his team to have done that. If Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is a 5th round pick in dog bowls, I'm going to take him quite a bit in these formats. All right. Henry, Judkins, Addison, Marvin Harrison, Mark Andrews, Brock Purdy. Team number 1. And he says, sorry. What a good guy. What a good guy, Top Stat NFT. You could pick Kyler, but then you are stuck with him if he is active but doesn't start. Although I guess, what is it? If they're active but never set on the field, they end up swapping. I don't know. It seems like a mess, because Kyler just might not start. Brian Thomas Jr. You guys see that right here? Brian Thomas Jr. is a 6th round pick. Either you're swapping or you get 6th round Brian Thomas. And wow. Chad built an absolute tank here from the 2-hole. Cook, Garrett Wilson, Kyle Monungai, Caleb Williams, Colson Loveland, Rashid Shaheed. Shout out to Chad Candles, man. What a goat. Okay. Let's do Monday Night Football Showdown DFS Sims, Cowboys, Cardinals, and then we'll get out of here. How's that, boys? I just did a big sim run. So really interesting stuff on this this Monday Night Football Showdown. Giant total between Arizona and Dallas. We get ready to learn 5.8s in the 6th round. So on the inputs, 25-point total for the Cardinals, 28-point total for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are fully healthy. 17.8 points for Javonte, 21 for Lamb, 15.5 for Pickens, 11.6 for Ferguson. Very, very weird dispersions for the Cardinals. 14.5 for Marvin Harrison Jr., but you kind of have to decide what you want to do between Bam Knight and Michael Carter. It sounds like Bam Knight is probably going to start, but it also is probably, I don't know, what do you think? 25% of the time, Michael Carter just plays better than Bam Knight. Could I mean, maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's a higher percentage of the time. I need 54 points from Dak, Pickens, and Bam to win my matchup this week. Well, I hope it happens for you, brother. So the optimal distributions here are, looks like some of the highest leverage plays. So both of the quarterbacks are actually negative leverage. Dak negative leverage, Jacoby negative leverage. I kind of like Jacoby a little bit more than the Sims do, although they're both projected to be owned a ton. Surprising no one, Javonte Williams is positive leverage because no one likes to play Javonte Williams. Even the Javonte Williams slappies don't like to play Javonte Williams. Then we have Bam Knight, slightly negative leverage. I was interested to see that Michael Carter was negative leverage. I really thought that with the projections being in that tighter band, that Carter would look good. Man, it's the computer really does think Javonte is a very good play. DeMercado also probably a little bit underowned. Wide receiver stuff. I mean, Lamb, positive leverage, only 0.2% positive leverage, but 2.7% captain leverage because his big games end up being very big. Pickens, Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, a positive leverage play. Wow, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s flex zone, 25%, 5% the captain, 30% total own, but pops up in 40% of the top 150 lineups in total, which is quite interesting. Michael Wilson looks okay. Zay Jones actually looks a little bit underowned. Then we have McBride, a little bit of positive leverage on Ferguson, a little bit of positive leverage on Elijah Higgins. It's kind of interesting. Let's look at some of these top builds. So this is some of what I do in my filters. So the first thing I do, max salary, 49,500. Do that. Then we get to, I got to bring the predicted dupes down. Bring the predicted dupes down to like 1.5. We'll just do 1. Top lineup, CD, Dak, Cowboys, Higgins, Brissett, McMahon. There you go. It's already a pretty sick lineup. Kind of interesting. All right, boys. There's a quick little look at the Monday Night Football Showdown. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I will see you guys all back